Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy early start to this nice Monday morning over here as we get prepared for a new week of new opportunities. That's what we tell that's what we say as optimistic people over here. And yes, there is no face camera today because it's dark times, man. It's super dark times, and actually Elsa's not feeling too well right now. I think she has a bit of food poisoning, so figured it was a little bit best for that as well. And also to accurately represent the sentiment right now in this space. All right, so without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. I wanted to start it off yet again with a continuation of the higher term timeframes that we've been looking at for Bitcoin over the past month and a half now. And it starts off here with the 2-day time frame signal to get an idea of when, if we're going to see continuation, that is most likely to be happening, and where it would also be most statistically likely to happen to as or towards as well, I guess is the right way of stating that that sentence. Anyways, let me go over this yet again. It is a volatility versus momentum signature right here. Volatility represented by this moving metric that my cursor is currently on versus stochastic momentum, which is this indicator right here. Basically, anytime that the volatility component gets down to extreme lows, the expansion phase that follows from those extreme lows has led to an average move of 39.5% done over the course of an average of about 3.5 weeks or 24 to 25 days. The stochastic oscillator has been correct in getting the direction for 9 out of 11 times. It worked yet again, so that's 83%. And the first standard deviation, which represents where we expect 68% of the results to fall between, would give us a range between 32% all the way up to almost 47%. So we've already hit the bottom side of the first standard deviation. But what is most interesting to me about this coming into this particular week is that if we are going to see continuation, that means continuation to new lows, then it is most likely to happen this week. Why is that? Because if we take the average days at 24 to 25 days and realize that the signal basically began in early November, well, we would be on just about day number 18 of this particular setup. And day number 18 on out of an average of 25 days would give us, well, basically another week. So between this Monday and next Monday, basically through this, holiday period, and Black Friday perhaps as well, and maybe even give another week after that as well, is most likely if we are going to see continuation to new lows. So this is the time, dare I say, to be paying attention. You know, it's like you always read these stupid fucking thumbnails on YouTube, like it's time to pay attention, big move coming, big move is coming soon. It's like, actually the big move probably is coming soon if it's going to be happening. That is the big if. Now I think that things are rather likely here, to be quite honest with you, and seeing as we've already hit the bottom side of the first standard deviation, which would kind of act as, you know, the first area of interest essentially, I'd be moving on to the average move at 39.5% to get the next sort of area of interest, if you will, upon continuation. So where essentially would that be putting Bitcoin? That'd be putting Bitcoin at about the low $13,000 territory on CME specifically. Keep in mind that there's about a $200, maybe $150 to $200 discount on CME futures versus spot price action. So it's going to be a little bit of a discrepancy there. But ultimately, in the next week or two, if we're going to see continuation, that's probably going to be about the next major target I'm looking at. It doesn't mean that things can't go, further, and there probably will be bounces along the way as well. But, one thing before the next thing, and I won't be looking at any sort of like catastrophe targets until something like that would be hit, essentially. So moving on to the next chart, I just wanted to quickly follow up on the 5-day timeframes chart. We've gone over this one a million times. I won't go over it again. It's just another volatility versus momentum signature right here. This one was fired off a few closures ago. And what I do want to go over here is, one, the average days at 37 days. Again, this signal being born upon about the same time as the 2-day signal, a little bit after that, but basically the same time. And then also the fact that the 5-day stochastic oscillator will continue with downside momentum, assuming that Bitcoin closes today on spot price action, actually below 17,700. If that is confirmed, if that condition is met, then downside pressure remains, and the likelihood of downside continuation, is amplified, not just along the 2-day time frame, but also the 5-day time frame. And the 5-day time frame does have some more nasty targets if we do want to get into more doomsday scenarios, but this would imply a time range into like middle of December. So if we are going to be looking at some sort of like dooms drop, that probably doesn't happen until like early-ish December at earliest, I think, and more likely middle to end of December if it's going to be happening at all. Anyways, what I also wanted to go over is that Dixie on the weekly, it did fulfill our target to the downside. We saw a move just right around that blue box territory right here at about a $1.05.5 is what we were looking for. My box is actually a little bit below that, but it was $1.05.5 is what we're looking for, and then a bounce likely from there. This bounce is going to be very, very important to judge if Dixie is putting in a dead cat bounce or if it's going to continue to probably new highs on the rally. And to accurately represent that case, we do see that potential weekly hidden bullish divergence is populated right here. Now, hidden bullish divergence is not a call to new all-time highs, but it is very likely a continuation of this bounce call, which probably does pop back up somewhere around a $1.09 to a $1.09.5. The question is, does it get rejected there or not over the next following weeks? If it doesn't, well, that's when the doomsday scenario probably gets a little bit more interesting. But for right now, this probably does at least push a little bit back around those regions. And in the short term, in the interim of the next week or two, well, seeing as Dixie's probably going to be going up, that is going to put a bit of pressure on risk assets, traditionally speaking. All right, sweet, or well, maybe not so sweet for some people out there. But sorry, all jokes aside, let's now go over a few other things on the higher term timeframes that got confirmed very recently. The weekly stochastic oscillator yesterday for spot price action has once again confirmed to the downside alongside volatility expansion. The current weekly time frame pivot is 16,900. That is to say that as long as Bitcoin's below 16,900, the weekly momentum remains to the downside. Yes, it is in a very critical zone right here, and it's going to be very difficult to keep that momentum up for a very long time. But could that mean one more major drop? Perhaps yes. So the question is then, what would essentially expedite a major dump-ola for Bitcoin here? Well, we still have this hidden bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, and we also did have multiple drives of hidden bearish divergence on basically all time frames up to a 12-hour baking. The 12-hour over here on CME is about to confirm in about 3 hours, 7 minutes, and 40 seconds, assuming that it closes basically here or under 16,000. And we saw that all the lower term timeframes, 6 hour and under for spot price action, had hidden bearish divergence, which were giving us targets back down to the bottom side of the range here. But not necessarily a break just yet. So what would constitute a break? Well, it needs to be, in my opinion, a higher term time frame closure below the range lows at 15,900 or so. Just because, we're talking about a big piece of price action right here. And yeah, we do have a bit of a descending triangle going on, which if it does close below, well, that would imply first a move somewhere into the mid $14,000 territory and probably a bounce there as well. There is a measured move based off this, which is about $14,500. Again, upon confirmation below the range lows. As always, there's going to be an invalidation for such things, because there needs to be, because nothing is perfect. And that would be, well, essentially popping back above the prior range highs. And in this case, they're no longer the short-term time frame range highs. They're now the medium-term time frame range highs. But that would be 17,000. 200 or so. That would get Bitcoin out of the weeds, if you will. But realistically, long term, as long as Bitcoin's below 18,000 bucks now, bears are in control, and well, bears being in control just means that it's not really time for me to be still saying that there is not a low in sight just yet. So yeah, there's your nice and positive message for the day. 8.5 minutes into this bitch right now. Actually, I forgot to go over lower term time frame stochastic momentum. Let's just go check it out really quickly. Let's see, daily downside as long as Bitcoin's below 16,000 bucks on CME right now, about 100 bucks below. 12-hour time frame will turn down below 15,830. 6-hour time frame will continue down below 16,500. 4-hour time frame will continue down below 16,450, and hourly will be loading as always. Will actually be up above 15,800. So maybe like a short-term time frame bounce here, and then if Bitcoin's going to topple on over, probably happens a little bit later today, maybe tomorrow, something like that. Ultimately though, it's a higher term time frames that I'm most interested in, and as long as they are below, especially 18,000 bucks on a closing basis, I don't really have any reason to be looking at this as like a major massive bear trap. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today. I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care. Much love. Forgot to let you know, however, that we do have a sale coming up for Black Friday. Probably would be wise to hold off on purchasing anything from the store here. If you are interested in such things, just wait a few more days here. We'll have a sale. You'll save yourself a few bucks, and make sure to watch the videos so you know what you're getting yourself into. What else? Yeah, Bybit's offering $30,000 deposit bonus now that everyone's wrecked and everyone's concerned about exchanges, which probably doesn't look too good, honestly. It's like, hey, all the exchanges are looking like shit, but we're gonna offer you $30,000 for free. No, well, I mean, there obviously is fine writing with that. They need you to actually trade there and transfer money there. But you can find that in the link in the description below. To be aware, though, I do not have a way of validating that they are, or any exchange for that matter, is legitimate as of right now. They are working on, I know that Bybit is working on Merkle tree analysis as proof of reserves and proof of liabilities, which is very important. Without both of them, there's not really like much sense in knowing anything. But that is still, I'm told, like a week or two away. So if you are risk averse, definitely wait for something like that, and then make the decision for yourself. Other than that, good place for me to be leaving off. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.